Kaylee, and today I'm reviewing Sir Walter Scott's epic poem, The Lady of the Lake. I love diving into some really good classic poetry, and of course I adore Sir Walter Scott. I've read several of his novels. I really want to read more, but I've never read any of his poetry before. And so I came into it with really high expectations, and I was not disappointed. Before we dive into all the reasons of why I loved Lady of the Lake so much, let's reach back here to our booktuber shout out book, and we're gonna shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Mercy Bookish Musings. I'll leave a link to their channel down in the description, so be sure to go over and subscribe to them. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you love classic poetry, if you love Sir Walter Scott. So The Lady of the Lake is all about Ellen Douglas. She is the lady of the title. As a result of a feud between her father and King James, Ellen Douglas is forced to live in hiding. She has to live on this secluded little island in the middle of a Scottish loch. And there she meets the mysterious James Fitzjames, a knight who has lost his hunting party and gotten lost in the Scottish Highlands. Ellen is distressed by the romantic intentions of two different Scottish lords, Malcolm Graham and Roderick Dhu. I really hope I'm saying those names right. I feel like I'm probably saying everybody's names wrong. Ellen's father, the Douglas, refuses to go to war against King James, but Roderick Dhu calls together an army prepared for a bloody battle. And of course, adventures and romance continue from there. I really loved the beautiful poetry. Sir Walter Scott is just an incredible author. I mean, the man was a genius, okay? But the way he brought together this poetry just was so incredible. There is such a wonderful balance in the writing of these sort of flowery phrases, but they don't feel too flowery because it's balanced by really powerful emotions and just plain good storytelling. The story is easy to follow, and it brings out these really powerful, vivid emotions. And of course, the adventure is exciting. He takes the time to really describe things, but it doesn't slow down the plot. So the pacing is really excellent. All the rhythm and meter and rhymes and everything is just so lovely. It just trips off the tongue. I really loved the strong characters of all those Highland lords. They're courteous and brave and loyal. They're everything that knights in a fairy tale should be. The Douglas is so strong and brawny that he has actually become a legend among all the Highland clans. And Roderick Dhu is the villain of the piece. He's rough and violent, but he always respects the traditional courteous conduct. So he's definitely a worthy, noble opponent. And Fitzjames is serious and stalwart, but he also has a tender heart. Ellen herself is a lovely character. She is sweet and kind, but she's also pretty strong-minded. She will sacrifice anything to save her father, and she shows her courage in more than one situation. I really love that she is sensitive and emotional, but she's also very tough to weather all the storm of difficulties that come her way. And I really liked how she will not bend to other people's wishes. She is gonna do what she's gonna do, and she's gonna make her own decisions. But she's also very unselfish and very generous, and she will absolutely take other people into account. She's not just going to go off and do her own thing without considering other people. She's very considerate, but when it comes down to what she knows is right, no one is going to sway her from her course. I loved diving into the Scottish setting. The poetry just paints this beautiful picture of the Highlands and the perfect unspoiled nature of the mountains and the lochs and the rivers. I mean, I could almost smell the greenery and the pines. I could almost feel the coolness of the water rippling along some little stream or river. It's just so vivid. It's so alive in every stanza. I also really liked that my edition has a lovely map. So you get to see where they're traveling and where the cities are and the rivers and the lochs and the island and all those things. And there are a few illustrations. There's only 7 or 8 illustrations, but those are really beautiful as well. And there are also footnotes at the back of the book to explain some of the more archaic language or the Scottish terms. I usually didn't need the footnotes though. The language is just so readable and the story flows along so easily that the footnotes most of the time are not necessary, but still nice to have just in case there's a word that you didn't know. For those who are curious, this edition is published by Macmillan Company. This is part of the New Pocket Classics. I wish it had the dust jacket, but it doesn't. But this particular edition came out in 1928. So this is a really pretty cover page there. So I just love reading these old editions. You really feel like there's history there. Of course, I gave this poem 5 stars. I just love it. It was so wonderful to dive into some epic poetry and really just be able to almost just sit back and enjoy it. Just let it flow over you. I loved it so much. Please leave me a comment and let me know what is an epic poem or some sort of classic poetry that you have really, really loved. Who is your favorite classic poet? Or let me know what are some other works from Sir Walter Scott that you've read that you really enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.